Next few sections that we're going to be working on are going to deal with factoring trinomials. So far, we have factored out the greatest common factor from polynomials, and then we have factored by grouping. Okay, factoring trinomials means that all of these polynomials are going to have three terms. Remember that factoring means rewriting a polynomial as the product of other polynomials. And our first step in all of these problems will still be to look for a greatest common factor. There may not always be one in your problems, but you need to look for that first. So your directions will say factor completely. Okay, so we have 3x squared plus 8x plus 4. Okay, first thing I'm going to think about is there a greatest common factor? Which there's not. There's nothing that'll go into every term. Okay, I'm going to show you one method that's sometimes called the bottoms up method for factoring trinomials. Now there are many different methods out there that you may have seen before, but I'm just going to show you the one that I think works the best for all of our problems. Okay, so first thing I want to make sure that the original problem is in the correct order, so that means highest degree first and then down to my constant. So once I have it in the right order, you're going to multiply the first coefficient times the last. Okay, so that's going to mean 3 times 4, which is 12. And I want to make a list of all the factors of 12. 1 times 12, 2 times 6, and 3 times 4. Okay, if this number is a positive number, which the 12 is, then I want to look for the pair of numbers that will add to give me the middle term. Okay, so because it's a positive 12, that means I want the two numbers that will add to give me the middle term, which in this case add to be positive 8x. Okay, so if I look at my list, the two numbers would be 2 and 6. I just need to add an x to each one so that I would have 2x and 6x, if I combined, would give me 8x. Okay, the next step will be to divide those two terms by the leading term in my original problem. So that is the 3x squared. Okay, so I'm going to divide by 3x squared. I have two fractions now that I want to reduce. Okay, so this part's very important. Reduce each one of the terms I have above. If I have 2x over 3x squared, I can't reduce 2/3. That would just stay 2 over 3. But x over x squared would reduce to x in the denominator. Remember the rule for exponents as far as subtracting your exponents go. Okay, then if I want to reduce 6x over 3x squared, 3 would go into both terms, so 3 into 6 would be 2, 3 into 3 would be 1, and then x over x squared would give me x. Okay, so from this step down, I have reduced each term. The answers that I have here are now going to represent my answer to my factoring problem. And so the reason this is called bottoms up is that we take this from the bottom to the top and write the polynomials. Okay, I'm going to write my two answers. The bottom, 3x, and the top, plus 2. Okay, for my second binomial, it would be x plus 2. Okay, so this would be the two polynomials that I could multiply back together that would equal the original problem that I started with. Now we can check all of these by using the full method. You're not required to check, but this is a good way for you to know whether or not your answer is correct. Okay, so if I take those two binomials and I multiply, 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times 2 would be 6x. 2 times x is 2x. And 2 times 2 is 4. Combine like terms. 3x squared plus 6x plus 2x would be 8x plus 4. And so that is the original polynomial that we started with. And so that checks out. It multiplies back to be that original problem. Okay, but my answer is 3x plus 2 times x plus 2. Okay, let's look at another example. Number 2, we have 2x squared minus 7x plus 5. Okay, again, there's not a common factor. The problem's in the correct order, so I multiply 2 times 5, which is positive 10. Make a list of the factors of 10, 1 times 10 and 2 times 5. Now, if this is a positive number, then I want the two numbers that will add to give me the middle term. Okay, well, what's going to add to be 7 would be 2 and 5, but it needs to add to be negative 7. So that means my signs will both need to be negative, because if I had negative 2x, we'll just go ahead and write that here, negative 2x and negative 5x, that would combine to give me negative 7x, and those two numbers would also multiply to give me the positive 10. Okay, then you will divide each one of those by the leading term in the problem. So I'm going to divide by 2x squared, reduce each term. So if I reduce negative 2x over 2x squared, that's going to reduce to negative 1 over x. Okay, then if I reduce negative 5x over 2x squared, the negative 5 over 2 would not reduce, and x over x squared would give me x in the denominator. Okay, bottom to top or bottoms up to write our answer. Bottom to top, this would give me x minus 1 times, and then bottom to top would be 2x minus 5. So if I multiplied those two back together, it would equal back to the original polynomial that I started with.